Thank you, as always, following the diary of the senior partner. So it's been a remarkable few months. Now, those of you that know my background will know that I didn't do so well at school, had a bit of a tough time there, and left with little in the way of qualifications and underachieved. But I went on to become initially a Silex lawyer, and then I went on to become a solicitor. Then I became a very young partner at a law firm at the age of 28, and in 2021 I became the first black senior partner of a top 100 UK law firm. So a really interesting journey for me. And what happened the last couple of months is that I received 2 doctorates, which were just incredible. The first doctorate was from the University of Law, and the second doctorate was from the University of Roehampton. Now, these were really meaningful to me because I didn't go to university, so to be recognised by 2 incredible universities for my contribution to law, as well as social mobility, was a really powerful moment. So I just wanted to share with you really some tips around public speaking, because when I received those 2 doctorates, I had to give a couple of speeches, and one of the things that I've become pretty experienced with is public speaking, as well as doing media, because I've run quite a few high-profile cases, including leading the Jimmy Savile child abuse cases, Paddington rail crash, Croydon tram crash. So some really high-profile stuff. But it's nothing like being on stage in front of 400 or 500 people. So here are a couple of tips, and I'm going to show you a few of the clips of my speeches that I gave at the graduation. So here's the first short clip which I'm going to play for you, which is the first graduation, University of Law. Now notice a few things. First of all, I do not read a speech. What I do is I create a mental speech in my mind. Sometimes I put it to paper, but often I don't. And then I have a kind of memorized speech, and the way I remember it is I kind of mentally split it into paragraphs, and I give myself a sort of trigger to remember what I'm going to put in that paragraph. So for example, with the speech I gave, I knew I was going to talk about my journey starting as a 17-year-old. I called the speech "I Stand Here," and so I started by talking about myself as a 17-year-old. So in my head it was 17-year-old, and then a bit later on I talk about later parts of my journey, and so there's a bit where I then thank my family, so that bit was just family thanks, and then there's a bit where I talk about the importance of being a lawyer, and that bit in my mind was be the ladder. So I've got 3 triggers there: 17-year-old, family, and be the ladder. Those are the things I need to remember, and then when I get going I can sort of expand and create that paragraph. So have a look at this clip. Back when I was 17 years of age, that young 17-year-old child was to have underachieved at school. He had but 2 GCSEs. That young 17-year-old was not going to achieve any A-levels. He was not going to go to university. He was not going to get a degree. With a sense of hopelessness, that young 17-year-old found himself sat before a careers advisor, and that was going to present him with a sliding doors moment. There were 3 job options. One was a tennis racket stringer, the other a warehouseman, and the final was to be an outdoor clerk for a law firm in Wimbledon. It was by good chance that that young 17-year-old elected for the outdoor clerk job. That was the first occasion he was to work with solicitors. He was to deliver legal papers to barristers' chambers. He was in awe of those solicitors and barristers, but he asked himself a simple question: could somebody like him one day be a lawyer. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to play you a bit of the clip from my most recent doctorate ceremony. And what I really want you to think about here is, because I don't read a speech, look at how I look across the room at the audience. I kind of imagine in my mind that I'm having individual conversations. It makes it feel a lot more personal. So I don't overuse my hands. I try and keep them fairly still, just because they can become a bit of a distraction. So I'm looking around almost as if I'm making eye contact with individual people. And then what I'm doing is just keeping my hands fairly calm so as to not move away from my voice. It's my voice. My voice is the most key part of the speech, and so I don't want to distract by moving my hands around. And then importantly, as I'm speaking now, I speak quite quickly, but when I'm actually giving a speech, I slow things right down, and my voice becomes very calm. It's almost pulling you in to the words that I use, and by introducing pauses, really meaningful pauses, and punching on my words, it can really, I think anyway, appeal to the listener. And finally, the words I use are important. Now, I tend to either use what I call power words, so it's something like, if this happens, the situation will be nuclear. Nuclear is a power word. Or I use kind of expressions which forces the listener to imagine something. So I might say, for example, obstacles in life they feel like they are a cloud. But remember this, it's possible to rise up and through the clouds, and should you do so, you will see the blueness of the sky and feel the warmth of the sun. You see, I've kind of created an imaginary situation. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this final clip. Life is not fair for all. For some, metaphorically, it feels as if when they pull back the curtains and they look out the window each and every day, what they see are clouds, and they feel the coldness of the day. And yet for others bestowed with privilege, it feels as if when they draw back those curtains, they feel sunshine and they see blue skies. It is my commitment to make sure that each and every person has the opportunity to rise through those clouds. And when they do, they will feel the warmth of the sun and they will see the blue sky, because each and every person in our society deserves to see blue sky and feel the sun. Thank you for listening. I hope that's been helpful. If you've got any comments, please do drop me a line. I will reply. If you've got any tips as well, please do share them. One final tip I'll give is I always try and end a speech either with something a bit funny or something meaningful. So here's something which I did, which is a bit cheeky at the end of that last speech. I'm going to finish with a final message to Mr. Elon Musk, should he be watching this. I will demonstrate how you humbly finish a speech. Thank you very much.